What is up, you guys? In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to dominate your local competition as a furniture maker. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Zach Vaught, and I want to help you in this video dominate your local competition. I want you to be the standout business in your area for handcrafted custom furniture. When people in your city or your region think about handcrafted custom furniture, we want them to think of you, and I'm going to teach you in this video exactly how to do that. And so I want to give you 5 ways to dominate your local competition in this video. Number 1, you need to quit fearing your competition. There's a book that I read one time called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it's by Robert Kiyosaki. It's one of the most iconic books in all of business. And it really helped me change the way that I thought about money and about business. He has this quote in the book and he says, instead of thinking, I can't afford that, start asking yourself, how can I afford that? The reason that he says this is that when you say something like, I see something that I want, but I say, I can't afford that, your brain powers off. You don't get creative, you don't think, you just shut off any possibility to what could be. When you ask the question, how could I afford that? It engages your brain. You start thinking and you start coming up with creative ideas to make more money, to figure out how to afford the thing that you want. So what does this have to do with fearing your competition? When you look at your competition and you see that there's 20 other guys within 100 miles of you doing what you're doing, and you say, oh man, I can't compete with them. Immediately, what do? You turn your brain off. You think, I can't compete, I can't hang, there's no reason for me to even try. When you look at your competition and say, I'm going to smoke you, I'm going to run you out of business, what it does is it inspires creativity. How am I going to beat my competition? And so I want you to start this video with that mindset. Here's the deal about business owners today. It is easier than ever to succeed. It's also easier than ever to be lazy. And I'm going to show you how all of your competitors are super lazy and how you're going to destroy them in the rest of this video. So number 1 is quit fearing your competition. You cannot be afraid of your competition. You got to figure out, how am I going to smoke them? How am I going to beat them? How am I going to be better than them? So that leads me to number 2, is that you have to be innovative. You have to be innovative. So there's 1,000 ways that you can be innovative. But the 3 that I do want to focus on is how you market and position yourself. You can be innovative with your product, and then you can be innovative with your customer experience. One thing that I see in the custom furniture space is everybody positions their stuff almost exactly the same way. We're the best, here's why we're the best, yada, yada, yada. And it has almost a serious tone to it. So with your brand, you have tones with your brand. So like there's a company called Poo-Pourri. Poo-Pourri is a spray that you spray on the water before you sit down on the toilet and you take a poop, and it masks the scent of your poop. Well, Poo-Pourri could have chosen to have a serious brand, but they chose to have a brand based and founded in humor. Well, they're talking about poop. So having a funny brand really makes a lot of sense. They make goofy videos, and their brand exploded. They're a multi-million dollar company. They crush it, right? And so one of the ways that you can differentiate yourself is just have different brand language than what all your competitors do. Most of your competitors in your local market, they're all going to be competing on price. They're all going to be competing on, we have great prices. There's nothing wrong with that. And you still probably need to have elements of that in what you're doing and what you're saying. But the number 1 thing that you can do is add humor. Like if you're in a sports town, for example, create products that are more geared around sports. Create language geared around sports, right? You know, like for example, I'm close to Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth. One of the biggest things that just happened in Dallas was that the Dallas Mavericks traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. It's one of the worst moves ever. It's super dumb. Well, I could immediately start promoting products in Dallas and tying in language around this terrible decision to trade Luka. So don't make bad decisions like trading Luka. Instead, buy a table from us, right? I'm just spitballing here, but you get my gist of what I'm trying to say. Okay, so when it comes to being innovative, you can do it through your positioning. You can use humor, be incredibly exquisite, like have a super fine product. There's 1,000 ways to do this. And you can literally Google, what are 50 different brand tones that I could use to position my products differently? So that's number 1. Then be innovative with the product. So instead of just doing the same thing that they're all doing, do it better, do it different. Do something unique that is going to resonate with the audience, right? So most of your competitors, they all build all their stuff out of construction grade lumber. It all looks the same. They all have the same terrible photos. So do something different. do something better. Immediately look and say, what can I do that's way different than what they're doing, okay? And then number 3, and this one is so big, guys, is the customer experience. This one is easy to win in, because if you just deliver flowers and handwritten notes to your customers, nobody else is doing it. If you offer some type of experience, like if they come into your showroom and they come to see you and you have some type of experience to where immediately you're handing them a glass of champagne and you're sitting down and you're getting to know them and getting to know their family and what their home environment looks like, and you're finding something in common with them and connecting with them, you're gonna crush it, okay? So these are easy ways to innovate, okay? Easy ways to innovate. That's number 2. Number 3, third way to dominate your local competition is simply to outwork them. This is one of the easiest ways to crush your competitors. A guy that I follow that I really look up to and admire a lot is Alex Hormozi. If you're in business, if you're trying to grow your business, you probably have heard of him. He's blown up on social media. One of the things that he said that was super impactful, that always stuck with me, is that he said, when it comes to my competitors, I may not be better than them, but I'm willing to sacrifice more to be successful than they are. I'm always willing to sacrifice more. I'm willing to sacrifice my weekends. I'm willing to sacrifice my time, my energy. And so what this basically said was that if I can't beat them by being innovative, for example, then I'll beat them out of sheer willpower. So many of your competitors are lazy with their branding. They're lazy with their marketing. They're lazy with their knowledge and their learning. They're not zealous to try to get better. If you can just put an additional 20% effort into what you're doing, you will see astronomical returns as far as crushing your competitors, okay? People, they build a product, they post on Marketplace, they're not gonna post another Marketplace listing all month long. If you're posting 20 Marketplace listings a month, you're gonna crush them. Your competitors are not running any paid ads. If you run paid ads, you're gonna crush them. Your competitors don't have a great website and you build a great website and have SEO on your website and are pointing traffic to your website, you're gonna crush them, okay? If your competitors are taking iPhone photos in the dark corner of their dining room and you're taking professional grade photos with a camera, you're gonna crush them. So just outwork them. Find the things that they stink at and figure out what is the better version of that, and I'm gonna go do that immediately. Simple, okay? So outwork them. Number 4, and this one is so big because it doesn't offer just short-term results, but it offers long-term results. And that is to build a brand, not just your products. So many of your competitors right now on Facebook Marketplace or in your local Facebook groups or whoever you're competing with, all they're doing is building products. They're not building a brand. If you build a brand a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, you're gonna have a business that is 100 times the size of what they have, if you have the wherewithal to scale it. When you only focus on building and selling products, you're gonna lose long term because you have to compete on price. What's the difference between a Walmart shoe and a Nike shoe? Does it take around the same amount of material to build this pair of shoes from Walmart as it does this pair of shoes from Nike? Yes, the technology in Nike is better. It probably requires a little bit more money, but it's not like it's 3, 4, 5 times as much money to build Nike pair of shoes as it is this Walmart pair of shoes. With that, a Walmart pair of shoes is $29.99. A Nike pair of shoes is $129.99. Why? Because of the brand. Brand allows you to charge premium prices. If you do not build a great brand, you cannot charge premium prices. How do you build a great brand? With great visual content, with great reviews, with great word of mouth, with great marketing channels, with a great website. These are all the things that you tie together to build a cohesive and beautiful and strong brand. When you have a strong brand, it's worth a lot of money. You can sell it. If you ever want to get out of the woodworking business one day, you can sell that brand for multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures. If you just are building products that doesn't have any enterprise value and you're always going to be stuck competing on price, and there's always going to be some dummy that comes along that's even more foolish than you that just tries to undercut your price and win like that, when in fact he's losing all of his margins by doing that. So build a brand, not just products. The last thing I want to share for this example is when you're building a brand, you're doing small activities on a daily basis that lead to long-term astronomical differences in results. And so the example I want to share is the story of Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, he has shared this multiple times, but he had a crazy workout routine. And he had a rigorous workout routine. He would wake up every morning at like 4 or 5 a.m. and he'd go to the gym and he'd work out. He'd come home, he'd eat breakfast, his kids would be waking up, his wife would be waking up, and then he'd go back to the gym at around 10 or 11 o'clock. And he'd work out again. He'd come home, he'd do some physical, some rehab, he'd get a massage, he'd eat lunch, and then he'd go back to the gym. And then he'd come home again, and then he'd go back to the gym again. He was working out 3 to 4 times a day. as opposed to everyone on his team that was just showing up for the mandatory practice, or all the other competitors in the NBA that were just showing up for the mandatory practice. Now, are these the best guys in the world? Yeah, they're the best guys in the entire world. But Kobe Bryant was working 3 to 4 times harder than them, building something every day that you couldn't really see stark differences day one from. But over the lifetime of a career, Kobe Bryant became one of the top 5, top 10 best players of all time because he did small things and built a name and a brand and outworked everybody, so that 5 years into it, or 10 years into it, he was head and shoulders above the next closest guy. So this is an easy way to win and to crush your competition. Here's number 5. This is the final one I have for you in today's video, and that is to have the courage to have premium prices. One of the things that you need to know about having premium prices is that it takes courage. It doesn't just take doing the math and doing it, but it's scary to when you've been charging $1,000 for a table to start charging $1,800 for it. There was a startup company called Warby Parker, and they're an eyeglass company. And there was a group of college students that started this company, and they were tired of how crazy the pricing was in the eyeglasses market. A set of eyeglasses were $500, $600, $700, $800. They're like, man, this is ridiculous that this is this much. We want to create an affordable eyeglass company. And so they went and found a supplier. They went and found somebody that was going to make the frames, provide the lenses, and they did their math and they realized that they could actually sell glasses for like $49, which is crazy. It also just goes to show you how much gouging there was in the eyeglasses market, but I digress. So they decided, they're like, man, we're going to sell these glasses for $49. Well, then they met with a business mentor, and they're like, man, we're so excited. We found the supplies, we found the supplier, we're going to be able to build incredible high-quality glasses for $49. And he looked at him and he said, that would be the biggest mistake you ever make in your life. And they said, what are you talking about? Why would that be a mistake? And he's like, because everybody is used to spending $500 to $800 for a pair of glasses. If you sell glasses for $49, immediately everyone is going to assume that these are cheap, crappy glasses and nobody's going to buy. He's like, you need to be charging at least $99 for a pair of glasses. So they more than doubled their prices, launched. It's one of the coolest stories ever. They launched and they were sitting in class and their notifications started going off on their phone that they were getting sales. Bzz, 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 bzz. $99, $99, $99, $99. And they started selling these glasses. Why do I tell that story? Because a lot of times we think we need to have cheaper prices. We're going to sell more if we have cheaper prices. But a lot of times what you do when you have cheaper prices, you cue something in the consumer's mind that they think, why is this so cheap? This must not be very good. And so oftentimes by having premium prices, you're going to give up and lose some sales that you would have otherwise gotten, but you position yourself as the best. And the buyers that want the best are upper middle class and upper class buyers. They're the people that don't think about price as much as they think about, I want to make sure that I have the highest quality thing that I can buy. And when you get those buyers, you have less headaches, you have less challenges, and you're no longer competing with all the dummies in your market. You're setting yourself apart and you're crushing them. So hopefully through these 5 steps, we've untangled some beliefs that you might have. We've helped you figure out how to actually implement and dominate your competitors in your local market. So with this, if you're trying to grow and scale, let me share 3 quick resources with you that's going to help you on your journey. Number 1 is a totally free ebook called the Handmade Business Secrets ebook that I wrote. It's about 85 to 90 pages long. It's going to outline my journey of really struggling to scaling and selling my business and ultimately doing over $70,000 per month in revenue. Number 2 is the Handmade Hero Academy. If you're new, you're trying to get to $5,000 to $10,000 per month, this is a low-cost investment. It's going to help you get there. Go check it out. Click on the link below. We have a one-time payment or a payment plan. It's easy to get started. And if you sell one piece of furniture as a result of what you learn there, it's going to more than pay for itself, okay? And then number 3 is the Woodworking Business Accelerator program for those of you that are really ready to scale your custom furniture or your woodworking business. I cannot recommend it enough. We're working with tons of clients all across the US and Canada and helping them grow and scale their business. This is for those of you that are ready to get to $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 per month. Check this program out. We're going to help you get there. And so with that, if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you do. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.